Found a bonfire.
We found the bonfire. It was not that long of a drop.
Oh my god.
What's up, Patches?
To hell with this guy.
How are you seeing anything down here? Like,
Well, he does have a light right in front of him. You.
I mean, but he got here before me.
That's true. He's lying.
Okay, so you two. I kind of went off a little bit about Mario. What are you,
See, I don't know if my opinion's all that valid because, again, as someone who does not watch movies very often... Oh, you just got sparted.
Yep, and this is why you don't trust trusty Patches.
Yeah, see, I don't watch a lot of movies, so I'm unfamiliar with a lot of voice actors. I don't look into who Chris Pratt is. I don't look into who Jack Black is. I think Jack Black did a good job as Bowser. Even that's also considering Bowser's only had a vocal voice maybe once in the game series,
yeah.
and that was in Mario Sunshine. But like I don't know, it sounds pretty good. But again, I'm also a huge Mario fanatic, so like again,
I was gonna say, because your thing is Mario.
It is, and so that might come off as a little biased. But I'm going into this movie looking more for the little Easter eggs and the cameos. Like I want to see all the references they make. I'm going to honestly assume that this plot will probably be about as good as the average Mario game, which averages out to the big fire-breathing turtle took my bitch and now I gotta go fetch. Mario games have never been all that great at storytelling unless they're, old-fashioned. Like, again, my primary examples being, like, Bowser's Inside Stories, Super Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door. Those are probably the only Mario games that actually told a good story.
Yeah.
Which is why my first thought of the Mario movie was like, how on earth does Miyamoto, a guy who has gone on record to state he's not huge on story, why are they doing a movie? Aren't movies just cinematic stories?
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking, I personally think we're going into this more for the childlike pleasure of seeing the whimsy of Mario on the big screen and less of it's a movie. So.
Yeah, probably. I think also a lot of people are just, this is going to sound a little weird, but like, they're curious about something, but it's because...
Morbid curiosity?
Yeah, morbid curiosity of the movies.
I like to see it more as cautious optimism. What the fuck is that?
Bone Tower. Anyway, like, well, I think people are always going to be curious about video game movies.
Adaptations, yeah.
Because despite the fact that they don't have a good track record, I think Sonic's the only one that's strangely had a decent track record.
Yeah, a lot of people say that the Sonic the Hedgehog movies were really good, both like the recent two. I also heard good things about Detective Pikachu, but then again, Pokemon's not shy about movies. They've done animated movies all the time.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, me and Ryan were talking about this not long ago in terms of like adaptations of video games, right?
Yeah.
So, there are so many video games that are fucking ripe for movies, to like in terms of adapting stuff, like that would be so good. And there are so many good things about adapting things into a movie medium for games that I don't know how to word what I'm trying to say, but like, you get games like, Assassin's Creed, for example, right?
Yeah.
When the Assassin's Creed movie came out, everybody was fucking stoked because it looked cool as shit. But then it's like, okay, you have a world that you can do like almost infinite things with, but you still manage to fuck it up. And you change core things about it for the sake of changing things. And it doesn't make any sense.
Fair.
And like with video game movies in general, I think a lot of games are what the fuck.
Yeah. The giant dog skeleton. Yeah.
No, I just mean the fact that it looked like it just like burnt into the.
It just
all the giant
burst.
skeletons just kind of explode when they die.
Yeah. But like, there's so many games that like absolutely would fucking lend themselves to.
Where did you come from?
wow.
You just like
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is how dark this place is without a light.
Holy shit.
Jesus. But yeah, there's so many games that like lend themselves to like a visual medium, like outside of just being like a game.
And it very rarely does it ever go right.
No, and it's because it seems like they're just like unwilling to fucking do shit properly. Like one of the examples that me and Ryan were talking about the other day was like Resident Evil, right? You know, you've had so many fucking times of them trying to adapt it for the screen in some capacity, right? There was the fucking bullshit Resident Evil movie series with Mila Jovovich that, while entertaining, wasn't Resident Evil. And there's, you know, the fucking Welcome to Raccoon City movie that came out, which apparently wasn't awful, but again, wasn't Resident Evil. And then there's the most recent thing with Netflix that they did, and like people said, you know, like visually it was fucking amazing, and you know, they did a really good job with like the appearance of the zombies and stuff, and like the liquors in particular were like looked amazing, but it's still like they still fucked it up, and like I feel like if you're adapting something that started as a game, you either have to go like almost exactly with what the game is, so to speak, or you have to do something completely different in that world. Like if we were gonna, we talked about this the other day too, but like if one of the Resident Evil things was gonna get adapted now, like because like at this point, you know, they keep trying to do it and it's not working, but like if any of the Resident Evil stuff was going to get adapted now, it should be like the Ethan Winters stuff, because I feel like those lend themselves to horror movie kind of things a lot more than like the stuff that they've tried to do so far, and they're almost more like, you know, interactive movies anyway.
Yeah. Sorry, I was also looking at Ryan just toss skeletons off a ledge.
Yeah.
He thrusted his sword at one, just pushed it right off a cliff.
But yeah, no. Video games and adaptations, it's rough.
It is, and you'd think it would be easier than what they're making it look like.
Exactly, because they already have the material there. It's not like they're coming up with something brand new. But, at the same time, they almost like if they're gonna be doing something, do it within like the game's world, and not necessarily just straight up take the game, turn it into a movie, so to speak. Like you're gonna have to change some things, but
you know what I think would probably, out of all Nintendo series I'm thinking about right now, I feel like Kid Icarus would make for a good movie. Especially Uprising. Uprising was already such an amazing game. Like I feel like, well, I almost don't want to know what they would do, but like, I feel like if they were to make a movie adaptation of Uprising, it would probably look cool.
you know what? If they would make a really good thing, and keep in mind this is from somebody who's not in a billion fucking years played one of these games, I feel like Metroid would make a really good.
Yeah. There's another skeleton right there.
Ryan got mucked again.
I got mucked.
Right. But yeah, I feel like
Metroid would be cool. Like I've heard that there like a specific actress has stated that she would love to play Samus.
yeah.
I don't remember where or what I heard. Hold on. I think I might actually be able to answer this for myself.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts on the adaptation of the Marios?
Specifically the Marios.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's tough to say. Mario was probably the safest thing they could do. Like, because as a franchise, they've kind of made Mario as white bread as possible. Like, no one can really be offended by Mario because he doesn't really. His characterization has no like strict beliefs or anything. He doesn't speak much. He's just like he just shows up and does his job basically.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm not saying that's a bad thing for because like in a movie sense that gives you free reign to create a human characterization for him. And if people don't like it, well, you can say they can just say, oh, that's just the movie version. The game version, which is the main version, is different.
That's true. Mario. They've always said that Mario is basically written the way he is, just simply so that he can fill multiple roles. Also, it was Brie Larson, I believe her name.
Oh yeah, so Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she said. I believe it was her that said she would like to play Samus in a movie.
That'd be interesting. But devil's advocate here, the fact that they wrote him with nothing, does that also not mean that it would kind of be, harder to...
That's what I think, because it's like if... Now, this is coming from someone who does genuinely love a story and prefers to have each and every character have a more fleshed out character, like to give them all their uniqueness. For games, sure, it works with Mario, but this is also comparing it to the fact that the 2D games have nothing to them. Like, we've got 5 new Super Mario Bros. Games, and I'm pretty sure nobody sits there and says, oh yeah, they're all different experiences. No, they're the same. It's the same concept. Mario's about as flat written as his own games are most of the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course it works, but that's because your games aren't all that fleshed out either.
No.
Like, at this point, 2D Mario needs to be revamped greatly. Like, Mario Maker was a good step, but that's also making the giant mistake of letting the fans do the work. Trust me, Mario Maker is a good game, but the moment you set foot online, it becomes a shit show of auto levels and trollish bits, and then Kaizo Mario. Hard to find a decent Mario level on the Mario Maker's online.
One skeleton is just waiting for me to just fuck up.
And it kind of sucks, because, yes, it's a blank slate, but I feel like it's a blank slate that they're,
You don't have much to write off of.
Spitting in the eye of, and the sad thing is that Miyamoto's, okay with it. Because I feel like at this point he's gotten too big in his fucking britches and just thinks he's the god of Nintendo.
Godfather. Yeah, you know what? I feel that because I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people would mistake Miyamoto as the actual president of Nintendo when realistically he's not. He's just a really, really important figure in Nintendo because he quite literally created most of their most iconic figures.
Yeah.
Mario, Donkey Kong, Link. And even lesser ones like Pikmin was his own creation. Was Animal Crossing his own creation? I don't think so. I don't think... Because I know Animal Crossing and Splatoon are kind of 2 of Nintendo's current big figures.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were created by Miyamoto. And oh my
Ew!
God. What? You don't like Baby Skeleton?
No! Mama. Yeet it off of a fucking cliff into a volcano. Papa? Papa, save me! But yeah, I feel like at this point it's he just doesn't give a shit anymore as long as he's making money. And ultimately that's what this movie is gonna do, is make him more money.
You know what,
I don't know if Miyamoto will make anything out of this.
My big thing is, again, for me, Nintendo kind of has fallen down that path of very, very shoddy current day business strategies. Like Mark was saying the other day, he hates how most game companies just seem to think it's okay to shove out half-finished games and then say, oh, well, here's your DLC as the rest of the game. It's just
Yes!
I think Sword and Shield were okay, because at least it felt like the current game... Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sword and Shield felt like complete games before the DLC.
And
But-
then they put out DLC, and it's like, whoa.
Well, no, the DLC was fine. It actually felt like expansions, and it's way better than getting a third version of the same game that just has a few altered bits.
Yeah.
But he was saying there might be like a hint that the third legendary of the new games will be in DLC, and I'm just like, well, that's shitty.
Yes, that, oh my god. It pisses me off so fucking much when game companies are like willing to screw over their player base just in the name of like, or sorry, not in the name of, they claim that it's like, you know, oh, because we want to like give you the best stuff possible. I was like, that's great, but like, did we fucking ask? Like, we want a complete game.
Yeah, just set out.
Or like,
Forget your reasonable release times. Give your team the time they need to make
something
a full
good
game.
Yes.
Like, don't sit there and say at the beginning of 2022, we want to make something for the end of the year. We're giving you guys a year to do it.
Okay, well then you're fucking over your team and your player base.
Exactly.
But like, it pisses me off to no end that you'll have companies like, I'm just going to use this as an example because it's one that I can think of, right? You put out a game, great, full game, whatever. So you think. But then they'll release DLC that's like pretty crucial to the story and like the characters and stuff. So like, because it was, fuck, what was it? With Drakengard 3, for example, like, I haven't played it, but, like, I've watched a bunch of videos and stuff with Ryan and whatnot about it. So, Drakengard 3 released the game, super cool concept. I would love to play the Drakengard series for the channel at some point, but...
actually get the games.
Yeah, because we only have 3 and then the 2 near games. But,
I'm keeping us on until I'm done with the caves in general.
But yeah, like... You know, the Drakengard 3 comes out, cool.
Yeah, there it is.
It's not necessarily what you'd want for the Drakengard series. Feels a little bit more like Drakengard than Drakengard 2, whatever, blah, 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 that doesn't matter. But then they release DLC about the different intoners, and it's like pretty crucial story stuff for like their backstories. And it's like, why would you do that? Like, and then they make the DLC the same price as the game.
Good job, Ryan.
Yeah.
Also, never
To be
make your
fair,
DLC the same
that
price as the
dog-
game.
To be fair, that dog followed me in a way for the perfect opportunity.
Well, he probably will follow us into the next episode too.
Yeah, that's true.